Here it is, people. The time that has come before us. The time of the presidential election. Now, by the time this video comes out, everyone would have voted for what they want to vote for, the Democrats or the Republicans, Kamala or Trump. Now, I haven't really talked that much about the presidential race because I've actually been trying to watch this whole situation as a third person perspective. Now, if you're wanting my opinion of things, I'm obviously going to be in the camp of Trump. Now, what we're seeing, or what I'm seeing from this whole sphere of influence that's been going on for the last, let's say, 72 hours before the election, and more or less the last 4 months at least, is an absolutely extraordinary situation where someone like me who likes history a lot is witnessing a potential change of American history. A point where we can see the dynamics of Republican, right wing, left wing, and socialist America clashing into itself. There we go. Now, the point I'm worried about what we're going to see now is we might potentially see the next 72 hours or even to January 6th a point of reconciliation or non-recognized election victory. Now, this isn't 2016 and this isn't 2020. What we're going to see in 2024, I think, will be another scale of the entire event. Now, I am in the Trump camp. There's many reasons why I would join the Trump campaign if I got the choice. I'm the one who looks at the global perspective of what's going on around the world. And to be frank, with many people who are not familiar with the situations in America, or normie to everything that goes on over there, people have forgotten what place America stands itself in the world. America is basically the definition of freedom-loving people. The nation that fought its revolution against the British and gained its independence as a sovereign nation into the Constitution. A Constitution that, by God, has changed the way many, many people think about the democracy, the rule of law, and so on, and things like that. And the way people perceive America themselves. Ever since Britain lost its position after World War II, the Americans have let themselves to be the freedom figureheads. The figureheads that would prevail the idea of peace and freedom and democracy. Now, we all know some of what I've just said is bullshit. Because we all are, I would assume, self-aware enough to know some of the things I've said have came to pass and then getting buried by other things. You don't have to explain what exactly these things are, but we all know what's happening now. Whatever is happening now between the Democrats and the Republicans, the MAGA and the whatever fringe of the left woke ideologues cults there are, we're going to see an absolute clash of what's going to be going on. Because I think we're going to see, well, we can see what happened in the previous 2 elections to appear to this one. The first time around, Donald Trump came in, shocked everyone, the media lost their minds, the liberal elite all lost their minds, and everyone's fine, all on the right was kind of relieved to see the left or the liberal elite shaking in their boots of a guy who's standing up against him. 2020, we saw COVID and the pandemic to make sure Donald Trump's reputation was destroyed, with many things he's done himself. 2024, we're going to see something a little bit different. I think we're going to see an absolute clash between cultish ideals on both sides, and they're going to clash once again to each other but we're not going to see exactly how this is playing out. There's words, could be a coup if Donald Trump wins. There's multiple cases of voting machines not working where they are just now, as this is again recorded the day before the election or election day. And within a few hours of this video, there will be a result. Now, whether this result is true or whether it is not, I think it's going to be the case of, yes, I'll put my beanie hat on and say civil war or civil disobedience. The word of National Guard being sent out was quite a play by the media to make sure people fell in line and say, oh, you can't be against the government, the military, the power. And honestly, it's very weird. But I think in the last 4 years since Biden's came in, well, we've even forgot that guy even existed, to be honest. We've got Kamala now. We've got a woman who, I'll tell you now, this is why I never liked her in the first place. She doesn't look like she knows what she's doing. She can't really run the platform by herself or can run a stage by herself. And the amount of times I've seen this, it's just absolute cringe. But this is the woman who prosecuted so much men, black men especially in California, about marijuana charges, and then goes on the Breakfast Show and laughs about it. Like, it's nothing, because this just shows the derangement of the Democrats themselves. But just the not caring part. The woman who is only really getting promoted right now because she's a woman and she's brown, because she's the diversity hire. So I can't really call her by her name. I would just call her diversity hire or orange man. That's your choice between the two, which is pathetic, but honest to God, this is my genuine feelings. What? And also, when she went to the presidential race, she lost against a girl who was from Hawaii, a much better candidate who could have gone for the presidency if you wanted to. But I think that girl now has joined the Republicans, of all things, within the last few weeks. And even that, it's just weird seeing the cult of vote blue no matter what for the Democrats. She can lie, she can laugh, she can be cringe as hell, failed policy. She's still somehow the good guy. Because we've live in a world where whatever view you have, it is, if it doesn't go along with the narrative that has been made by the mainstream media or the commander or the leader of your chat group or the social media mobs, it doesn't matter. Orange man bad, he is Hitler, so on, so on. I want to talk a little bit about Trump before I stop. Donald Trump isn't perfect. I'm aware of that. I am in his camp, so I'm a little bit biased. But when the world saw his reign of power, where he was declaring peace, making deals, they weren't all perfect, but they were better than it is now. Ever since Joe Biden's came in, there's been multiple wars. The Afghan withdrawal, which I am so frustrated that we even allowed to happen in the way it did, shows the state of where the West is. Now, I'm no fan of the way the West does its job sometimes. But when the West can do what it can do properly, it's a force for good. But it's run by people who are incompetent and evil. And that's the choice that we have in America just now. You've all voted now. You have voted for one, the man who isn't perfect, is loud, shouty, has been shot, more acts like the working class than any Democrat or any member of Washington themselves, because Trump has made himself so relatable to workers. It's absolutely fascinating to see. If you look back in the history books, eventually you'd be like, who's this guy? He's very interesting. But if you went to bias, you could be thinking, oh God, this guy, he's annoying and he's this and he's that. And I don't blame you for that at all. Now, what I'm you've got this, a man that's relatable. He made mistakes before, but the energy that comes with him, the plan he's got to do to take down the establishment, get rid of the people that he knows is inside. The way he talks to people, the Joe Rogan show, it's all these little things. Elon supporting him after the end, all these little things that's happened, seeing these 4 pictures there, all that is what's combinated to this legacy that he's built on. And that's why I think the polls are so tight. So you've got him, then you've got Democrat globalist elite who are quite happy to work in their little cabals and with connections to the CIA, FBI, and so on, to make sure they can keep power. Now, I think ever since 2016, they were absolutely terrified by the fact that they lost, because they thought they owned the game board and they owned everything, and they've been making it living hell for not just Trump, but for Americans who decided to say no to the establishment. The establishment of Washington, the establishment of the Pentagon, and the establishment of the world elite. And I'm on about the big dogs, the people that we shouldn't really talk about unless you're getting feared of getting shot at, aka the Orange Man. But that's the kind of difference of people you got to deal with. I'm very lowering the level field here. I'm not really going out and out to explain what these people are, because there's so much context. I could go on for hours about these kind of things. But the choice is this. Establishment Democrats who hate the American working class, that are supported by radical extremists who want to destroy the idea of America, the freedom-loving, the patriots supporting, and the strong, good free will of the world kind of America, from good, hard-working Republicans. They want to destroy what makes America great. They want to destroy what America stands for. Like a lot of the elite now want to turn everyone into this globalist citizen thing, where everyone isn't a person by state or by country, but a class number, citizen 2.756, or something like that. Something so diminishing and something so futile and probably evil. It's not a lot of things to question. So, I leave you with this. Whatever America decided today will remain an impact for the future. If it remains positive, Donald Trump is in, regardless, and he will be probably the most assassinated attempt president ever. And he will be shattering glass ceilings, of all quotes. The Democrats come in, expect the world to go into a lot worse state. Even that idea of civil disobedience and civil war. Because I'll tell you, friends, the world changes today.